So welcome to again another episode of the Otaku Informers, this time to talk about some video games. I am Rashid with my two co-hosts, Felipe and Matt. So without further ado, so this has been the cause for a lot of talk across the video game industry. So basically, we have Felipe, who is half Japanese, half Brazilian. And in Brazil, in the country of Brazil where you come from, Felipe, so basically the Activision Blizzard deal, before it officially goes through, it has to go through a lot of it has to go through a lot of regulation boards across the world, right? In a lot of countries. So in
Yeah.
Brazil, the judge or whoever takes care of that, they take counter arguments on if they should let the deal pass, right? By all the parties involved. So somebody went through these documents in Portuguese and translated all these documents and found this little gem here. So Sony says it believes Xbox owning Call of Duty would could influence users' console choice. And we have a little quote here. Oh, whoops. Okay, yeah, I can. If you okay, give me just 1 second. I'm just gonna open the picture because on my OBS it's like super small. There you go. This is the quote. Hang on, I'm just opening the picture file. Because I'm actually very curious to know, especially Felipe's opinion, because I know you've heard about this, Matt. You're
Yeah.
aware of the video game industry. So this is what Sony said, quote, Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console. Oh my god, my picture just closed by itself. Oh,
No technical
okay.
difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Do,
That's
do, do,
normal.
do, do, do,
Yeah.
do, do. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I understand what it's at. Okay, so it's okay. I'm gonna read it from here.
So yeah, just to meanwhile
So
to fill the air. So
yeah,
I did hear about this because I follow a channel that talks about various geek topics, not just gaming or anime or whatever. Yeah.
if you don't mind, let me just read it. I have it. So Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console, and its community of loyal users is entrenched enough so that even if a competitor had the budget to develop a similar product, it would not be able to rival it. And then they said each annual Call of Duty takes 3 to 5 years to develop, which is very interesting because they have a Call of Duty every year. So that means that every Call of Duty requires a huge amount of investment, requiring hundreds of millions of dollars. And they said that apparently Activision is hiring 2,000 more developers. So that means that they're going to be pumping out even more Call of Duties. And Sony adds no other developer can devote the same level of resources and expertise to be able to rival Call of Duty, blah, 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 blah. And then it says that Call of Duty is synonymous with first-person shooter games genre. So like they're saying that the whole category of first-person shooters is defined by Call of Duty, and it's saying to say the least, players would be unlikely to switch to alternative games. So that means that even if they make a similar first-person shooters, people are not going to change because they will lose the familiarity and skills and even the friends that they made playing Call of Duty. And now, wait, and there is a new news. So that was last week. So this week, Xbox, they had the time for like to really think about what they were gonna respond to this because a lot of people were talking about it. So Xbox has accused Sony of paying developers Game Pass block fees. So apparently, Sony is paying developers so that their games don't get released on Game Pass. And Sony and Xbox ads, which I find is pretty interesting because we have an official console wars happening officially between Xbox and Microsoft, like through their PR department, I guess. So, considering that exclusivity strategies have been the core of Sony's strategy to strengthen its presence in the games industry, and that Sony is the leader in the distribution of digital games, which apparently 80% of Sony's game sales last year or something, I think it was last year, 80% was digital games. So only 20% is physical games anymore. And so basically, Microsoft adds Sony's concern with possible exclusivity of Activision content is incoherent. So like Microsoft is literally calling Sony incoherent, and that Sony's concern with possible exclusive. Yeah, and then finally, the last quote that they added is it only reveals once again a fear that Sony has about an innovative business model that offers high quality content at low cost to gamers, which threatens Sony's leadership that it has forged through device centric and exclusivity focused strategy. So Sony's whole strategy is exclusive games. And basically, and they just closed by saying that Sony does not want attractive subscription services to threaten their dominance. All right, Felipe. What do you think about all this?
I have heard about this new because I follow a channel that talks about various things, like I just briefly mentioned, just to keep up my Portuguese, to keep practicing. But first of all, I gotta say that first, Sony is full of hypocrites. If this is actually true, they're hypocrites because they don't want their game because it's from a company that they acquired. They don't want to go to the opposition when they themselves put they no longer exclusive games like God of War and Uncharted and such on Steam, which is a PC. So that's Microsoft. That's technically the enemy, right? As if they
Mm,
want to keep the competition. So they're a bunch of hypocrites. If this is true and they go to legal ways, there's actual. I can't even find the right words to say other than hypocrite at the moment because this is like not right.
what do you think, Matt?
Um, I think it started off with Sony doing this only in Brazil, just as kind of like a testing of the waters, right? They're kind of
Mm,
like, okay, we'll only mention this in the Brazilian documents in Portuguese. No one will notice unless they actually try. We'll just see how it pans out. And now it's gotten way too big, and I'm sure some people in Sony are going, "Oh shit, what did we do? Oh shit, this is PR that we do not need right now. Why did we do this?" Um, I think originally it started because the documents are about the acquisition of Activision, right? And like Sony was kind of like, if this goes through and Xbox might become slowly a monopoly on the gaming industry, and like I don't know if this is good or not. And now it's gotten way bigger than that, so it's very interesting to see how it's developed. I love how Xbox just came back and was like, "Yo, yo, yo, you guys aren't good either. What the frick are you talking about?"
yeah, yeah. I actually really liked Xbox's response because they're like, "Wait, you're accusing us of having a monopoly when you've been paying developers for exclusive games forever? Like Final Fantasy VII Remake still has not come out on Xbox, you know?
Yeah.
Like so many Final Fantasy games have never come out on Xbox, so many PlayStation games. Like are any of the Resident Evil games, were any of them, no, all of them are always cross-platform, right? Any Capcom game ever been
Uh,
PlayStation exclusive?
Street Fighter 5 in the beginning.
What?
yeah, in the beginning.
Could you imagine just putting Street Fighter 5 as an exclusive when it's a fighting game that needs as many people as possible? My point is just that, to be honest, I'm on Xbox's side on this point just because I think right now Sony is there's a saying that says well, in French it's like oh yeah, the chickens have come home to roost, right? So basically, like, you've created this situation by alienating Xbox for a decade, and now Xbox is like, you know what? We're about to go, like Xbox One sold terribly compared to the PS4. Our gaming like department is bleeding. We have to do something. Please, Bill. Please, can you like please help us, Bill. You know we exist. And then he's like, all right, I'll open the checkbook, sign an $80 billion check, and now that Xbox finally has a light of hope to compete with Sony, now they're like, they're trying. It's unfair to against us now. It's like you've been unfair against them this whole time. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Uh, just a just a brief digression because you brought up the sales for Xbox One. Did you guys see the numbers that actually came out?
Nope.
When it was like 59 million Xbox Ones were sold, and then like 100 million PS4s were sold.
That's
Those are the
crazy.
official numbers that just came out. So Xbox was like, yeah, we weren't doing so great last last generation. Sony basically like beat us down to the ground with those numbers. That's all.
That's pretty much 2 to 1. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I really really like Game Pass, and I love competition, and I think the more competition, the better. And I think thanks to Game Pass, now Sony was forced to create the PlayStation Plus Extra, which I really enjoy. Like, I haven't bought a PlayStation game in a while because now, thanks to the Extra, my backlog is even bigger than it was. Like, now I have Death Stranding to play, now I have Guardians of the Galaxy to play, I have Final Fantasy 9 to play, I have the South Park games to play. Like, PlayStation Plus Extra, even though it's not gonna be able to compete with Game Pass in the sense that they're not gonna have day and date. Like the problem with PlayStation Plus Extra, the new Sony games will not come out at the same time. We've already talked about that. But yeah, I think that overall I'm happy. The more competition, the better. I think it will force Sony to innovate. But at the same time, Felipe, you did bring up a good point. Is starting to bring out games on a Microsoft platform, which is Steam. So they've woken up. They are technically, they're not like locking their games forever on PlayStation like they used to, but you know, still not on Xbox though. But yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Sony Sony has been like dominant for decades. The PS2 is still the biggest console, like best-selling console ever. They've always been good. PS3 has sold millions. The exclusive franchise, the IPs, they're like they match Nintendo in terms of exclusivity, right? And many other like and them
Hmm.
wanting to block off Xbox, like why do you have to block off competition and be hypocrites about it? Like only Xbox, like the Game Pass started to compete, but you've been doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Like Sony's in a sense, like the image I have, Sony's mostly platforms, well, Xbox has the shooters and the RPGs. This is just like a general logic here, but like Sony has been very greedy because they've been acquiring companies that are technically unrelated to them. Like they just acquired Crunchyroll and Funimation before, and those two merged, so they've been diversifying even further to acquire like a big piece of the anime pie. And Crunchyroll's been steadily growing slowly, and so they what are they afraid of? They already have mo so much money in gaming alone that they need to resort to these cheap tricks to like prevent extra competition instead of just focusing on themselves. Like I've said
Yeah.
like time and again, the next step of gaming evolution is to improve VR. There is
Hmm.
nothing else to improve in the game. Improve graphics like see a strand of hair. There's nothing to improve graphic wise. So the next step for gaming in any company will have to be VR, improving VR and maybe AR.
Interesting. That is interesting. And yeah, I mean, another surprising thing, one big news from all of this is that Sony's paying developers not to release their games on Game Pass, which is pretty crazy, but I mean, it's business, it's cutthroat.
Allegedly, right? But it might also be true. And also, what Matt mentioned about Brazil as a testing ground, it's very possible. Like everybody knows how corrupt Brazil is, but in particular, there's some I haven't checked enough news about, but apparently Brazil was thinking of adding an extra tax on digital games just so they can steal more money.
Wow.
So that's how bad they are. And in a similar but kind of different way, Brazil is full of senile people in charge of these taxes because they consider gaming as not an essential entertainment source yet. So that's why taxes are for imports and games and soft and hardware, they're still so high. But from the same channel that I've followed, apparently they like steadily these past few years they've been like lower steadily some tax import taxes. So that's good. So the cheaper it is, the more you buy, the more money the country makes. It's just logic. So they're slowly starting to see that gaming, the gaming industry is a multi-billion dollar industry that is worth giving a chance. But
Hmm.
Brazil's folks like this is electronics, that's not really money here, even though it's very hypocritical. And now that they're not making things cheaper and adding these digital tax, Brazil is a weird country.
All right, so that was the Sony versus Microsoft in the fighting stage of Brazil talk. So,
Yeah.
any last things you guys want to add?
Mm,
No.
then just stay informed, guys.